So this is put in the job mode. Okay. You see the screen? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is what we were doing last in the last class. We stopped here. This is what is, let me see whether it is in the record mode or not. No, it is there. Okay. So if we have the number of configurations that we can get, that will depend on the number of chiral centers the molecule is having. Suppose we have got 2 chiral centers, then there will be how many optical isomers there with 2 chiral centers? We'll have 4.
4, sir.
Okay, already you know that one. So what will be this 4? So let us see here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. But 1 and 2 are mirror images, and 3 and 4 are also mirror images of each other. So they are 1 and 2 are enantiomers of one another. 3 and 4 are the enantiomers of one another. But the 1 and 3, or 2 and 3, or 2 and 4, or 1 and 4, these are not mirror images, but optical isomers of the same compound. So what they are called? They are called what they are called? Yes? Huh? What they are called? Oh my goodness. Then what you have studied? They are diastereomers. The diastereomers. So you should be, these terms are very important, because this is what, if you don't know, then we cannot do anything. So number of isomers. Now if we have got n number of chiral centers, then we'll have 2 to the power n number of optical isomers. So, but this is not, but this is for constitutionally asymmetrical molecules, asymmetric molecules. So this one will be starting now. Okay, we have got the terms now, enantiomers and diastereomers. Enantiomers are the pair which are mirror images. Suppose here in this case 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and 3 and 4. They are pairs of enantiomers. But others, say 1 and 3, 2 and 3, 2 and 4, 3 and 1, all these things are diastereomers. Okay. Now let us see. This is properties of enantiomers. What we say, the properties, physical properties and chemical properties are supposed to be same. But let us see what is the actual thing. All physical properties are same. We are talking of the properties of the enantiomers. Remember, enantiomers, the one which are mirror image structures. All physical properties are same, including their NMR, except specific location. So except this one, all are same. Next point, all chemical properties towards achiral reagent. The reagent with which it is reacting, if it is achiral, then they are identical. Means the chemical properties are same, including the rate. But if the chemical properties will be different in the following cases. What is that following cases? Let us see. So we can have, suppose a optically active compound A, one of the isomer, will be reacting in a with a particular reagent, maybe using a catalyst, and in a particular solvent. Now here this reagent or the catalyst or the solvent may be chiral or achiral. If it is chiral reagent and other two are achiral, then what will be the difference is that the rate of the reaction will be same, but the rate of the reaction are going to be different. So that is where the difference will appear. We said that all physical properties are same except specific rotation. That means if the dextroisomer will show positive rotation and other one will show negative rotation. Similarly, if one of them, suppose this solvent is chiral and other two are achiral, then also the rate will be different. And so also if the catalyst is chiral, one chiral catalyst, one isomer and other isomer, that means two enantiomers will have similar reaction, but then their rate of the reaction will be different. So this one you should be acquainted with. All right. Now we come to the next part. What is the number of optical isomers we say? For 2 it is 4. For if it is 1, we have got 2. If it is 2 chiral center, it is 4. If it is 3 chiral center, there will be 8. If it is 4, so it will be 16. So it falls in this formula 2 to the power n with n number of chiral centers. But this is true for constitutionally unsymmetrical molecules. Means all the chiral centers are not bonded to the same type of groups. Now suppose here we have got this one. This molecule, suppose CHO, this is aldehyde group, then CHOH, then CHOH, then another CHOH, another CHOH, and another, then CH2OH. Now, how many chiral centers are there? You tell me, one of you. How many chiral centers are there?
4.
4. Yes.
4.
Who is that? Yes. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 chiral centers. So what should be the, and this is constitutionally different, unsymmetrical, because you find here this group is bonded to, one is H, another is OH, another is this group, and another is this group, which is different from the others. Everyone is, at least one also, if it is unsymmetrical, then also this formula will hold good. So this is bonded to H, OH, CHO, and this group, which is different from the other. So this is constitution. So here it will be, the total number of isomers will be 2 to the power 4, that means 16. And this is, you know, it is a carbohydrate, aldohexose, and glucose is one of these 16. What is glucose? Glucose is CHO, and then right, left, then again, here, right, and right, then CH2H. Now, this is the position of OH group, the H is this side, and that is for glucose in this. These 4 chiral centers, that is your glucose. If there is anything change coming, if any one of this one changes, this is not glucose that we have. So glucose is one of these 16. So this particular molecule can have 16 configurations. One of these will be glucose. Anyway, so that is what. But this is not true if the molecule is constitutionally symmetrical. Just see. This is the formula. I think, do you know this? Have you come across this formula and things like this, constitutionally symmetrical and unsymmetrical molecules? Hello? Have you got it in your college?
No, sir. No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, then you should remember this. So don't blindly say that it is 2 to the power n. This is only when this is unsymmetrical, constitutionally unsymmetrical. That means connectivity are different. But if the connectivities are different, symmetrical same, then we can have this formula will not hold good. So it has to be like this. But here also we can have this constitutionally symmetrical, but with even number of chiral centers, and here it is odd number of chiral centers, odd number of chiral centers. And what are the examples of this? One example. So this is one chiral molecule with the chiral center here and here. That means there are two. Two means it is even. Two means even number. And this is a molecule with odd number, but connectivity is same. You see here, this is bonded to OH, H, COH, and this group, and which is also OH, COH, H, and this group. So this becomes a symmetrical molecule with two chiral centers, and so this one is not going to give us. If it is two chiral center means what? 2 to the power 2 means four isomers. We don't get 4 isomers here. And we also get something different also here. Now here this formula is given by this. Total number of isomers will be 2 to the power n minus 1, where n is the chiral center, plus 2 to the power n by 2 minus 1. Just you have to remember this. You have to note down this. And active out of this one, all are not active isomers, because inactivity can come because of some symmetry in the molecule structure. So active isomer will be 2 to the power n, and one of these, another category will come called mesoisomers. Meso means the molecule has got chiral centers, but in spite of having chiral centers, the molecule is symmetric because of some plane of symmetry or center of symmetry or axis of symmetry there in the molecule. So such compounds are called meso compounds, and they become optically inactive. And this meso compound will be, number of meso compound will be 2 to the power n by 2 minus 1, n by 2 minus 1, not that n divided by 2 minus 1. It is n by 2 minus 1. Okay, this is the number. And if it is symmetric, asymmetric, odd number, with the odd number, then total number will be this one, 2 to the power, and active isomer will be this minus this. So the formula has to be remembered. How you remember, it is up to you. So example is tartaric acid and this one. Let us examine this one with respect to tartaric acid. So this is what we are coming. Have you got this point? So don't blindly say that it is 2 to the power n. This formula will hold good only when it is unsymmetrical. If it is symmetric, constitutionally symmetrical, then we'll have these two types of situations. Okay. Now we come here. Optical isomers of tartaric acid. Tartaric acid is one such molecule where it is. What is tartaric acid? Already we know. Tartaric acid is this one. It is constitutionally symmetrical with even number of carbon atoms. So this formula, let us see. Otherwise, if it was unsymmetrical, it would have been 2 to the power 2 means 4. But we don't get 4 here. We'll get like this. Total number will be 3 instead of 4. If we put this formula there, you get 3. Active isomer, out of these 3, active isomer will be 2, given by this formula. And mesoisomer will be 1. This is what. Using this formula, you get this. So it is total isomers 3 instead of 4. Out of this, all are not active. 2 of them are active, and 1 is inactive. That inactive compound is called mesoisomer. Now, what is a mesoisomer? This is the definition of mesoisomer. Meso compound or mesoisomers. Have you come across meso? The word meso? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you know what is meso. So mesoisomers are given this name. Isomers are isomers which are optically inactive compounds because of structural symmetry in the molecule itself. the molecule becomes symmetric. So they have plane or center of symmetry in the molecule. So this is what we have to examine. So let us see what are these isomers. So this is tartaric acid. So one isomer, if it is this structure, the other isomer is going to be mirror image of this one, a mirror image of this one. So 1 and 2 are mirror images. And 3 and 4 will be like this, but 3 and 4 are constitutionally, stereochemically they are same. So this gets cancelled. We'll take up also their configuration. That time we'll see again that they are same. 3 and 4 are same. They are not different. Now, why they are same? Then also here it is mirror image. You can say that this is also mirror image. How they are not same? They are not same. We'll see this one. But this one and this one they are same. So the number becomes 3. 1, 2, 3. So instead of 4. Of these, 1 and 2 are active isomers and 3 is meso compound. Now you see in this 3 or in 4, what is this? You just see, pass a plane here, put a plane here. Is it not exactly dividing the molecule in equal half? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So if it is, so what is an optically active? Optical activity will be shown only molecule is asymmetric. Then what we have seen in case of carbon compounds, if carbon is chiral, that is going to be asymmetric. But here we have got something like this, 2 chiral center, one here and one here. But even then, the molecule becomes symmetric. Overall molecule becomes symmetric. So such compounds are called mesocompounds. So this is mesotartaric acid. Because it is tartaric acid, so it is mesotartaric acid. So you see here, these are the things which are there. So already what has been told. So what will be 1 and 2 are enantiomers. If this is D, this will be Al, LIGO. But 1 and 3 are going to be 1 and 3 or 2 and 3 are going to be diastereomers. Remember, enantiomers will have same physical properties, but diastereomers will have different physical properties. So let us see their properties also. So here, plus tartaric acid, melting point is 172, density is 1.76, and specific rotation is plus 12 degree. And here, minus tartaric acid, melting point is 172, and 1.76 is the density, and specific rotation is minus 12 degree. Then another variety we can have plus minus tartaric acid, that is nothing but equal mixture of plus and minus tartaric acid, that means racemic mixture. So here the melting point remains same, but specific rotation becomes 0 because one compensates the other. The other one is mesotartaric acid, M-tartaric acid. This is 166 melting point, 1.66 is density, but here also the specific rotation becomes 0. Means that is a optically inactive compound. Then you see what is the difference between racemic tartaric acid and mesotartaric acid. Racemic tartaric acid, racemic mixture of tartaric acid, what we can have? Racemic mixture of tartaric acid, we can have what is called plus tartaric acid and minus tartaric acid can be separated. That is called resolution. Already we have told that. But so you can make them active by separating them. But here mesotartaric acid, you cannot make it active. It remains always optically inactive with specific rotation 0. I think you got this point. Hello, are you okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So now with this, we end this section. We come to now this. Okay, this is what already we have said that one. Now this is something. Have you come across this enantiomeric axis? in your college days, enantiomeric axis?
No, sir.
Why not? Huh? Okay. Anybody from any university? From any, you are having students are there from NEHU, from Guwahati University, from Dibrugarh University, any university, any topic, is it included in your syllabus? Enantiomeric axis. Dibrugarh University students, can you tell? Anybody here? Enantiomeric axis. And short form we can say EE.
It is not there, sir.
It is not there. Achha. Anyway, it's not at all difficult thing, but it is an important thing. Important thing to know. Now, what is enantiomer? You know, enantiomers are mirror image structures. And what is their property? All physical properties are same except their specific rotation. Already we know that. And what is this? Now, what is a racemic mixture? Racemic mixture will have equal proportion of dextro and levo isomer, right? But suppose, so that means 50-50. 50% of dextro and 50% of levo will be their enantiomer. If their enantiomers present in this ratio, then it is called racemic mixture. But if it is, suppose this is 40% of dextro and 60% of levo, they're unequal, right? Unequal proportion. Then what will happen? 40% of this one will have a neutralization with 40% of the opposite isomer. That means if it is dextro here, this will be levo. And the rest left is how much? 20%. So this 20% we'll call it enantiomeric axis. I think now it is clear. So it's a very simple thing, enantiomeric axis. So let us go by definition. Enantiomeric axis. What is that one? This is this one. Is a measure of how much of one enantiomer is present compared to the other. Suppose example, 40% enantiomeric axis in R isomer. R is the configuration. Here the configuration is given, not the rotation. 40% enantiomeric axis R in R. So we are left with 10 minutes. So what is remaining? That means remaining 60% is racemic mixture. Yes or no? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Remaining 60% is racemic mixture. Racemic mixture means what? Equal proportion of both the enantiomers. So that means what? 30% is R isomer and 30% is S isomer. Oh, sorry. Here it is should be percent. 30% is S isomer. Hence, total of R is how much? 40, that excess one, plus 30 from the racemic mixture. So total R becomes 70% and total S becomes 30%. Okay, so this is what is, so very simple thing. Now here we'll have some, how to calculate how much is there. Optical rotation. Now here, suppose the specific rotation of the compound is, suppose this compound is, suppose, suppose it is 20 degree. So dextro will show 20 degree and levo will show plus 20 degree dextro and minus 20 degree will be levo. Okay, dextro and levo. Now, if they are having some enantiomeric axis, will they give the specific rotation? If you measure, will it coming to optical rotation? Will it come to 20 degree? No, right? It will depend on what is how much is dextro and how much is levo in the mixture. So that one is given by this formula, optical rotation. Optical rotation can be calculated from here. You note down this. I'm giving a problem and you have to solve it and give me the answer. Optical rotation will be given by this optical rotation will be given by this. It will be enantiomeric axis divided by 100 into specific rotation. Or enantiomeric axis, anything we can have. Optical rotation by specific rotation. Optical rotation is that of the resulting mixture and into 100. So optical rotation is equal to EE by 100 into specific rotation. And enantiomeric axis can be found out by optical rotation by specific rotation into 100. I think you get that. Have you noted down?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Now our percentage of optical purity will be given this. This also you note down. Optical purity is alpha observed by alpha maximum. Alpha maximum is nothing but the specific rotation into 100. That is optical purity. Optical purity. Okay. You take down this. Take down these two questions. Calculate optical rotation of the following from the following data. Following data, one is specific rotation is equal to 20 degree and D isomer is 90%. D isomer of that particular compound is having 90% in the mixture. So you have to find out the optical rotation. Optical rotation you have to find out. Specific rotation of the compound is 20 degree. Number 2, question number 2. Calculate the enantiomeric axis from the following data. Here it is given specific rotation is equal to 20 degree and optical rotation of the mixture is found to be plus 18 degree. Okay. And from there you have to find out also find the percentage of both the enantiomers. That means how much of D and how much of L is there. You have to find out. And send this solve problem in my WhatsApp number latest by tomorrow. Not that somebody will send it after 1 week and I will see this one. I am noting down all this. Those who have sent it, all of them got correct except one who has sent it only yesterday or day before yesterday. I am not going to entertain such things. When I see tomorrow latest means tomorrow. Anybody giving after that, I will not check. Got my point? Hello?
Yes. Okay, yes, sir.
Yes,
And
sir.
these two questions you note down and you submit me by tomorrow evening latest. Done. Now we come to next part. Okay, yes. Now let us examine some of the molecules which are going to be optically active and inactive. I will let me do something because this is going to start again something new. Not new exactly. This is part of this discussion only. That means what type of molecule will become the molecule. How to identify which molecule is going to be optically active or not from the structure. All right. And once it is optically active, we know they can have how many isomers will be there. It will be depending on how many chiral centers, whether the molecule is constitutionally symmetric or asymmetric. Depending on that, so many things will come. Then we will have enantiomers, we will have diastereomers, etc., etc. Now, but first of all, let us see how to identify a molecule from its structure, that whether it is going to be optically active or not. Simple rule is that molecule should be asymmetric, isn't it? There should not be any symmetry in the molecule. But symmetry, you see, you have got the symmetry axis, you know, C2 axis, C3 axis, all these things you have studied in your symmetry in your inorganic chemistry related to that one. So that symmetry, suppose that is not, suppose the molecule is going to have, is having C2 axis of symmetry. Instead of that one, it will have, the molecule is going to be optically active. We'll see this one. Let me just disconnect because only 2 minutes are left. And let me just disconnect and come back again. So all of you will quick, let me see how many of you are there here in this, you are there. I find 32. At one point, I found 33, including me. Let me disconnect and all should join quickly. I stop here. End this show and I'll give the connection again.